Welcome back to another Explainer. Today, we're setting out on a very specific mission. We are going to cut right through that massive cloud of industry buzzwords to give you a truly pragmatic, ground-level guide to generative AI. We're looking at exactly how organizations transition from just, talking about AI to actually deploying it at real enterprise scale.
Just look at this number, 74%. When we look at where business leaders are actually prioritizing their investments for 2025, AI and generative AI are absolutely dominating the landscape right now. I mean, they are sitting way, way above traditional data management and cloud platforms. So this isn't just a trend anymore. It's a massive fundamental shift in capital allocation. And it establishes exactly why you need to understand the architecture of this technology today. Because if you don't grasp the basic building blocks, you simply can't participate in what's arguably the most significant digital transformation of the decade.
So here is our roadmap for the Explainer. 1. The AI alphabet soup. 2. The Fuel data methods. 3. Rise of foundation models. 4. Overcoming AI limitations. And 5. Secure and responsible AI.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the AI alphabet soup. We're going to clarify AI, ML, and Gen AI.
Think about it like you're teaching a child about art. Traditional AI is essentially the critic. You show the child a painting and say, okay, these are the strict characteristics of a good painting. The system basically learns the rules to judge, analyze, or categorize. Kind of like spotting one fraudulent bank transaction hidden in millions of data points. Generative AI, on the other hand, is the artist. You show the child a whole bunch of different paintings, hand them a set of brushes, and ask them to synthesize everything they've learned to create an entirely new, completely unique painting. Generative AI doesn't just analyze the data, it actually creates net new content.
Moving right along to Part 2, the Fuel data methods. Understanding your own company's data is the absolute essential first step here. Generally speaking, you've got two main types. Over on one side, we have structured data. This is the neat stuff. It's organized in perfectly aligned rows and tables. Think of a standard order ledger or your monthly bank statement. It is incredibly easy for a computer to query. But on the other side is unstructured data, and this stuff is messy. It's complex. We are talking about free-form emails, those chaotic reply-all threads, PDFs, random audio recordings, and images. Historically, that unstructured data was really tough for software to deal with. But guess what? This is exactly the kind of messy information that generative AI absolutely excels at processing.
Now, depending on what kind of data you actually have, you'll use different machine learning approaches. Let's break down the three primary methods you need to know. First up, supervised learning. This relies entirely on labeled data. It's like teaching a model to predict housing prices by giving it a massive data set where every single house already has a price tag attached to it. Second is unsupervised learning. This method dives headfirst into completely unlabeled data to find hidden structures. Imagine analyzing millions of customer transactions to reveal natural hidden segments that you literally didn't even know existed. And third is reinforcement learning. This is all about interaction and feedback. Think of an AI learning to navigate a video game or a complex maze. It gets points for good actions and penalties for bad ones, learning the optimal strategy purely through trial and error.
Okay, Part 3. Rise of foundation models.
So what exactly is a foundation model? Well, it's a highly advanced learner that relies heavily on deep learning. These models are trained on massive, and I mean massive, usually unlabeled datasets. Honestly, think of it like a brilliant student who's been given exclusive access to the world's biggest library, just absorbing knowledge from countless books, articles, and websites. Because they develop such a broad, generalized understanding of the world during that pre-training phase, they can easily be adapted or fine-tuned later on to solve highly diverse enterprise problems.
To put this into a practical, real-world perspective, let's take a look at the Google Cloud ecosystem. It's essentially a toolkit. You've got Gemini for multimodal tasks, meaning it seamlessly processes text, images, and video all at once. Then you have Gemma, which are lightweight open models, perfect for local customization. There's Imagen for incredibly powerful text-to-image creation, and Veo for generating video. You basically just pick the exact engine that matches the kind of data you're working with.
Which brings us to Part 4, overcoming AI limitations. Because, let's be real, this tech isn't flawless.
Let's rapidly run through 4 built-in limitations of these systems that you absolutely have to be aware of. Number 1, data dependency. If the training data is incomplete or flawed, the output is going to suffer. Number 2, knowledge cutoff. Models don't automatically know what happened in the news yesterday.
They only know the world up until the specific date their training ended. Number 3, bias. These models can easily absorb and amplify statistical patterns and biases that were present in their training data. And number 4, hallucinations. Since models don't naturally verify facts against an external truth source, they can sometimes generate incredibly confident but entirely fabricated responses.
So how do we actually fix those hallucinations in a strict business setting? The answer is a technique called grounding, and more specifically a method called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG. It's a remarkably simple 3-step recipe. Step 1 is retrieve. When a user asks a question, the system searches your company's private, verified knowledge base for relevant info. Step 2 is augment. It takes that verified information and silently adds it to the user's prompt to provide rock-solid context. And step 3 is generate. The AI uses that augmented, contextual prompt to generate an answer that is completely grounded in your company's actual reality. It's literally like giving the AI an open book test instead of forcing it to guess from memory.
But listen, even with awesome techniques like RAG, we cannot just rely entirely on software. And that brings us to HITL, human in the loop. Automated systems absolutely still require human oversight, human judgment, and human context. Whether you're doing pre-generation review or post-generation review, having real human experts act as a safeguard is absolutely crucial, especially if your enterprise is using AI for high-risk decision-making in sensitive fields like healthcare, criminal justice, or high finance.
And that leads us perfectly into our final section, Part 5, Secure and Responsible AI.
When we talk about enterprise security, we really have to protect the fuel. There's this great concept from our source material about data poisoning. It says, data poisoning is akin to someone secretly swapping out vital ingredients in a recipe. If a bad actor maliciously manipulates your training data, your model is going to learn incorrect patterns and make fundamentally flawed predictions. So strict access controls and data validation, they aren't just annoying IT chores anymore. They are literally critical to the core integrity of your AI.
To manage these entirely new, unique vulnerabilities, organizations need standardized security frameworks. For example, Google has developed the Secure AI Framework, or SAFe. What it does is establish deep, rigorous standards for building and deploying AI so that your systems are secure by design and by default from day one. It's really all about proactively finding and stopping threats and continuously managing the very specific risks that AI introduces to your existing infrastructure.
But security is just the foundation. Building responsible AI is exactly like building a house. A secure foundation is totally necessary, but you also need serious structural integrity above ground. That means you need high-quality data to prevent skewed or biased outputs. It requires explainability, meaning you can actually understand how the AI makes its decisions, which ensures accountability. You also need transparency, so users know exactly how their data is being handled. And finally, legal compliance, making sure you're navigating the incredibly fast-moving laws around intellectual property and privacy. If any of these pillars are missing, the whole shebang is compromised.
While we've covered a lot of ground today, we decoded the alphabet soup, explored the data fuel, looked under the hood at foundational engines, and set up the necessary security guardrails. That is the true, real-world architecture of enterprise AI. So I want to leave you with a thought to take back to your organization today. Your data might be ready to feed these incredible AI engines, but are your guardrails truly ready to keep them on track? Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll see you next time.